Demon's Road. Bowden Road, perhaps better known as Demon Road, has a steady flow of reports regarding the experiences travelers claim to have had while driving down this old road. People that wander off down by Demon's Road tell tales of disturbing encounters and an eerie feeling that sweeps over anyone who dares disrupt the spirits said to be lingering down on Demon's Road. The old road leads to an old cemetery known as Martha's Chapel Cemetery, and locals warn curious people who desire to brave the path or visit the graveyard not to provoke the spirits. Many of those warnings are spoken by those who claim that a spirit had followed them home after being in the area. In May of 2010, a woman reported an encounter her husband and their friends had while at the cemetery. She claimed that they saw a man wandering through the cemetery one evening, but did not pay much mind to the wanderer. A few days later, as the woman was getting into the shower, she turned around to close the shower curtain, and much to her surprise, there in her bedroom stood the same man they had seen wandering throughout the cemetery the night before. The man disappeared after instilling immense fear in the woman, and she has reported that she hasn't seen him since. Witnesses report large handprints being left on their vehicles after driving down the road. Some witnesses claim that the handprints appeared to be someone or something unseen grabbing at their car. Almost 100 car owners have found prints on their vehicles have reported their encounters. There are also reports of a mysterious red light being seen along the road. Those who have claimed to see the lights say that the number of lights that appear depends on the number of people traveling in the vehicle. One group of four said that when they were leaving the road at approximately 4 a.m., 4 red lights appeared out of nowhere. And then suddenly 4 handprints appeared on the hood of the truck, according to the men in the group. Some say that there was a cult down there. Others say it was the KKK that have been spotted down on Demon's Road holding ritual ceremonies. It's even said that members of the cult have been seen drinking blood from a sacrificed dog. Others allege that they were visited by apparitions of a young child with glowing eyes riding a tricycle while on the road. A strange, faceless, threatening creature is also said to appear to some people. The Candy Lady. Around the turn of the 20th century, children started going missing in small rural counties in Texas. People blamed it on the Candy Lady, a woman who supposedly lured children to her home with candy. Then they were never heard from again. Children in the area told stories of how they would wake up in the morning to find candy sitting on their windowsills. Fearing that their parents might try to stop the person or thing leaving the candy, they didn't tell any adults. After a child had received the candy for a while, they would start to find notes in the wrappers, many times asking children to come and play. The notes were signed the Candy Lady. Over the span of about a decade, a handful of children went missing. And as some children got a little older, they started to confess that they had eaten candy left on their windowsills from a Candy Lady. According to the story, other strange things happened around this area that spooked the residents. A farmer found the rotten teeth of a child in a candy wrapper at the edge of one of his fields. A police deputy started investigating the disappearances of the children, and a few weeks later they found his dead body in a ditch. His eyes were stabbed with a fork, and his pockets were filled with candy. To this day, anytime a kid goes missing, all the locals say that the Candy Lady got them. Children believe that she takes them somewhere and pulls out their teeth or stabs them with a fork. Hell's Gate. Somewhere deep inside the tangled green depths of River Lacey Park in Arlington, there is rumored to be a very old trail, surrounded on either side by musky swamps and overhanging trees. This long dirt trail is said to end at a dirt mound, a spot where captured spies of the Union Army were executed. And they call this place Hell's Gate. It is said that if you can still find this spot, you might see the remains of the gate post, where a gate once hung. This passage was supposedly one of the last things the prisoners ever saw, as they were led through it at the end of the trail to the tree, where they would be hanged. Some believe that because of all the deaths that took place near this gate at the end of the trail, there are many tormented spirits still residing at Hell's Gate. They claim that if you walk this trail, you can still hear the disembodied whispers, sobs, and prayers of the men and women who once walked their final steps to this awful place. River Lacey Park covers acres and acres of area, so it is hard to find this area. Perhaps if you find a friendly park ranger to assist you, he can show you the way. Just don't get lost, or you might end up just another spirit stuck at Hell's Gate. The Screaming Bridge. On the night of February 4th, 1961, a car filled with 6 Arlington teenage girls plunged off a burnt-out wooden bridge, where then Arlington Bedford Road approached the railroad tracks in far north Arlington. The tracks themselves run parallel to a drainage ditch, which the bridge spanned. The Arlington High School co-eds were out joyriding after leaving a movie that evening. As the girls' car approached the crossing at approximately 45 miles an hour, the incline of Arlington Bedford Road and the darkness prevented them from seeing that the bridge was actually out. At 9:30 p.m., their vehicle left the road and impacted the other side of the ravine, landing upside down. As a result, 2 of the teens were killed almost instantly. It was no strange occurrence that the bridge had been burned down. In fact, it had been burned down quite a few times in the past, but it has always been rebuilt. There were a set of boys who set a fire on the bridge, but they were never charged. Their parents and community leaders just justified that they were good kids that didn't understand the harm their prank would cause. That it was just boys being boys. A concrete path was constructed in place of the wooden bridge, and a train accident caused the road to be shut down completely in 1994. But people say that sometimes you can still hear the screams of the girls as you cross over that ditch, over what is now called the Screaming Bridge. The Donkey Lady. This legend dates back all the way to the 1800s, and the story goes that a family had settled down in San Antonio near Elm Creek. They were farmers, and their horses and donkeys were crucial to their business. Somehow, the son of a wealthy merchant came into contact with one of their animals when he was riding past their farm on his horse. He taunted it, and it bit him in retaliation. He began to beat it severely, and the family came running out of their house to see what was going on. They couldn't persuade the man to stop hurting the animal, so they threw rocks at him until he rode away, swearing revenge. He came back late that night with a mob of angry, wealthy folk. They set fire to the family's cabin and stood guard outside to ensure that no one escaped. The father ran out, hoping to distract them so his family could escape, but he was shot immediately. Just when they thought that everyone inside had died, the mother came bursting out of the fire. She was burned from head to toe, still on fire and screaming, her face half melted. She wasn't wearing any clothes. The woman ran past the mob to a nearby bridge which spanned the creek. She dove headfirst into that water below. Her body was never found. And it's said if you drive over that bridge, you can hear her screams, sometimes see her ghostly apparition. And it's said to sometimes bang on passing cars. And that's how she got the nickname, the Donkey Lady. And if you see her spirit, it will be horrifically disfigured. And it will look less than human. Animalistic, almost. Those were 5 urban legends from Texas. Let me know if you're from Texas. I couldn't find a lot on some of these, and some of them, when I found it, it had like a bunch of like random information that didn't mean anything at all to the story. But I did my best to find some good ones, some interesting ones. There's a lot of like really good haunted places in Texas, but those aren't really urban legends. You know what I mean? So I kind of shied away from them for this video. But there's a lot, so I'm probably going to do a Texas just like famous hauntings video because there's a lot there. But as always, ghouls, the last video will be on the top left. The next video will be on the bottom left. All my social medias are on the screen as well as in the description box below. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.